There comes a time in your life when the noise gets too loud. Too many opinions, too many expectations, too many people telling you who you should be, what you should do, how you should live. You can feel your soul suffocating under the weight of it. And then one day you hear a whisper deep inside, disappear. Not because you're weak, not because you failed, but because something inside you is waking up.
It's the moment you decide to go ghost, not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. Because real growth doesn't happen in public. It happens in silence. It happens in shadows. It happens when the world thinks you vanished, and you're actually just being reborn.
Going ghost isn't about ghosting people to hurt them. It's not about revenge. It's about recalibration. When you pull away, it's not because you hate anyone. It's because you love your future more than their approval. You've spent years responding, reacting, over-explaining, over-sharing. But now, you're done performing, done proving, done trying to convince people of your worth. You're not vanishing to run from life. You're vanishing to build one. The world doesn't need another people pleaser. It needs another savage dreamer. And savage dreamers don't spend all day justifying why they disappeared. They go ghost. They get to work, and they let their comeback speak louder than their absence.
Ghost mode is not hiding. Ghost mode is holy dot. It's the decision to walk into the cave of transformation, to close the door on distractions, to strip yourself of noise, to finally listen to what your future self is begging you to become. This is the sacred season no one sees, the one where you wake up early while the world still sleeps, grind in silence, study without posting about it, heal without announcing it, grow without explaining it. It's painful, it's lonely, it's powerful, because when you go ghost, you reclaim your energy, and energy is the currency of dream-chasing. No more leaks, no more draining conversations, no more investing in people who don't even invest in themselves. You're not running away, you're running within.
You cannot rise while you're still attached to what holds you down. The opinions, the likes, the old identities, the fear of being misunderstood. You can't soar with anchors tied to your ankles, so you disappear. Not to isolate, but to elevate. You learn to breathe without the crowd. You'll learn to validate your own effort. You'll learn to say, this is who I am, even when no one's watching. That's what detachment does. It detoxes you from needing constant approval. It teaches you that silence doesn't mean failure. It means focus. People might think you're crazy for going dark. Let them, because when you rise, they'll all come asking how you did it, and the answer will be simple. I stopped showing up for others and finally showed up for me.
When was the last time you didn't explain yourself, didn't clarify your absence, didn't justify your goals, didn't give people access to your every thought? We've been trained to overshare, to overspeak, to overpost. But silence is your superpower. It confuses the enemy, it creates curiosity, it amplifies impact. Because when they don't know what you're doing, they can't sabotage it. They can't critique what they can't see. They can't copy what they don't understand. You are not obligated to narrate your journey in real time. Go ghost. Stay silent, move smart, because the loudest person in the room is rarely the one building anything worth remembering.
Going ghost often feels like death. You'll feel like you're disappearing into the void. The texts will slow. The invites will stop. The praise will dry up. And you'll ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? But hear this, every great rebirth begins with a social death. You must die to who you were, to who they thought you'd be, to who you pretended to be to make them comfortable. This death is necessary, because from the ashes, something fierce will rise. The you who doesn't settle, the you who doesn't explain, the you who doesn't flinch. Don't fear the silence of going ghost. It is the sound of your old life falling away, and your real life finally beginning.
You do not owe the world updates on your evolution. You do not have to share your every milestone, struggle, or lesson. Your healing is not a performance. Your vision is not a poll. Your dreams are not public property. You are allowed to build in the dark. You are allowed to change without permission. You are allowed to go silent while you level up. This world will have you believe that. Transformation must be shared to be valid. But listen, private progress is still progress. Just because they don't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. You are growing roots, and roots grow underground. One day the tree will burst through the soil, and when it does, they'll swear it happened overnight. Let them. Most people aren't chasing dreams. They're chasing attention. They want to be seen before they're ready. They want to be known before they've earned it. They want the crowd before they've built the foundation. But the dream, the real dream, it doesn't care if you're seen. It cares if you show up. It asks for consistency in silence, discipline without deadlines, sacrifice with no guarantee. And when you say yes to the dream, the crowd gets quiet. They don't understand why you're working so hard, why you're not going out, why you're not posting, why you're different. That's okay, because the crowd follows trends. But dreamers, create them. Go ghost, and chase the dream that won't leave you alone. The one you'd do even if no one clapped. That's the one worth building. Going ghost isn't just emotional, it's disciplinary. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It's saying no to things that look fun but lead nowhere. It's deleting distractions, blocking noise, uninstalling validation. It's sacrifice, it's repetition. It's boring sometimes, but discipline is the seed of domination. And every moment you choose the long term over the instant, you get sharper, you get stronger, you get closer. The world will try to lure you back with quick dopamine. Ignore it. This isn't a sprint. It's a silent marathon. And when you finally cross the finish line, you'll know it wasn't magic. It was focus. It was solitude. It was ghost mode. This is not a permanent disappearance. This is preparation. You're going ghost, not to vanish, but to return transformed. And when you do, you won't come back explaining. You won't come back small. You won't come back seeking approval. You'll return unrecognizably elevated, refined, grounded. The people who doubted you won't know what to say. The ones who ghosted you will circle back. The ones who couldn't see your vision will ask how you did it, and you'll smile. Not out of arrogance, but because you know what it cost. You paid for it in silence. You earned it in isolation. You forged it in the dark. And now you own it. Go, ghost, and don't look back until your future is louder than your past. People confuse solitude with suffering. They think that if you're alone, you must be broken. That if you're silent, you must be hurting. That if you're missing, you must be lost. But you're not lost. You're climbing. And climbs don't happen in crowds. They happen in caves, in silence, in breathless, unseen struggle. You don't owe anyone a map of your mountain. You owe yourself the summit. There's a kind of power that comes from being misunderstood. A fire that builds when they count you out. A grit that forms when the noise dies down and all you're left with is your vision. You've chosen the path of solitude, not because you can't handle people, but because you're ready to handle your purpose. You're not escaping, you're ascending.
You're not supposed to be surrounded right now. You're not supposed to be out and about. You're not supposed to be liked by everyone. Why? Because dream chasing is not a group project. It's not done by consensus. It's not achieved by committee. It's not built by people who are half invested in your greatness. This is your private war. You against comfort? You against procrastination? You against the version of you that keeps settling. There are no teammates in this part. No cheerleaders, no claps. Just cold mornings, quiet nights, and the sound of your heartbeat saying, keep going, even when no one's watching. Because most people only show up at the finish line. Let them. You're not doing this for the finish line. You're doing this for the freedom that comes from knowing you didn't quit on yourself. You didn't just disappear. You removed access. You got tired of repeating yourself. Tired of explaining your fire to people who live in puddles. Tired of asking for understanding from people committed to misunderstanding you. So now, you speak less. You move more. You trust your gut. You protect your energy like it's sacred currency, because it is. This loneliness you feel, it's strategic. It's divine separation. It's life filtering out the people who can't survive in your atmosphere. It's the universe clearing space so the real ones can show up later. You're not cursed. You're chosen. And chosen ones must often walk alone before the world understands why. Every time you see them out partying, every time you scroll and wonder if you're being left behind, every time you question if you made the right choice to go ghost, remember this: you're not missing out. You're catching up to the version of you that's been waiting, the version of you that doesn't settle for average, the version of you that knows your name belongs in rooms you haven't even entered yet, the version of you that refuses to waste another year repeating the same cycle. While they post highlights, you're building substance. While they chase attention, you're mastering skill. While they fear silence, you thrive in it. The spotlight isn't real. The grind is dot, and every second you choose solitude over superficiality. You're building something. Eternal dot. Let them have their moment. You're building your movement. Let's not lie. It hurts to disappear. It hurts to be forgotten. It hurts to wake up and realize your phone is silent, not because people are mad, but because they were never really with you. But pain is not the enemy. Comfort is dot. Pain is proof you're shedding the need to be liked, shedding the fear of being left behind, shedding the version of you that played small just to be included. Feel the sting, but don't mislabel it. This is not rejection. This is redirection. Every ache in your chest is a sign you're getting closer to truth. Every tear you don't post is another layer of strength you just earned. Every day you grind with no praise is another brick in your private empire. Go ghost. Let it hurt and watch what gets born in the fire. Here's a secret. While you're grinding in silence, everyone else is comparing in public. They're stuck in the algorithm of self-doubt. They're addicted to being seen. They're spending more time on optics than on outcomes. But you're in the cave bleeding, breaking, rebuilding. And in the cave, there's no competition. Just echoes of your own breath. Just the rhythm of discipline. Just the weight of dreams you're finally strong enough to carry. You're not running behind. You're running alone. And that's why you're undeniable. Let them fight for followers. You're fighting for freedom.
You're not supposed to be surrounded right now. You're not supposed to be out and about. You're not supposed to be liked by everyone. Why? Because dream chasing is not a group project. It's not done by consensus. It's not achieved by committee. It's not built by people who are half invested in your greatness. This is your private war. You against comfort. You against procrastination. You against the version of you that keeps settling. There are no teammates in this part. No cheerleaders. No claps, just cold mornings. Quiet nights. And the sound of your heartbeat saying, keep going, even when no one's watching. Because most people only show up at the finish line. Let them. You're not doing this for the finish line. You're doing this for the freedom that comes from knowing you didn't quit on yourself. You didn't just disappear. You removed access. You got tired of repeating yourself. Tired of explaining your fire to people who live in puddles. Tired of asking for understanding from people committed to misunderstanding you. So now, you speak less. You move more. You trust your gut. You protect your energy like it's sacred currency. Because it is this loneliness you feel. It's strategic it's divine separation. It's life filtering out the people who can't survive in your atmosphere. It's the universe clearing space so the real ones can show up later. You're not cursed. You're chosen. And chosen ones must often walk alone before the world understands why. Every time you see them out partying, every time you scroll and wonder if you're being left behind, Every time you question if you made the right choice to go ghost, remember this: you're not missing out. You're catching up to the version of you that's been waiting. The version of you that doesn't settle for average. The version of you that knows your name belongs in rooms you haven't even entered yet. The version of you that refuses to waste another year repeating the same cycle. While they post highlights, you're building substance. While they chase attention, you're mastering skill. While they fear silence, you thrive in it. The spotlight isn't real. The grind is dot, and every second you choose solitude over superficiality. You're building something eternal. Let them have their moment. You're building your movement. Let's not lie. It hurts to disappear. It hurts to be forgotten. It hurts to wake up and realize your phone is silent, not because people are mad, but because they were never really with you. But pain is not the enemy. Comfort is. Pain is proof you're shedding. Shedding the need to be liked. Shedding the fear of being left behind. Shedding the version of you that played small just to be included. Feel the sting, but don't mislabel it. This is not rejection. This is redirection. Every ache in your chest is a sign you're getting closer to truth. Every tear you don't post is another layer of strength you just earned. Every day you grind with no praise is another brick in your private empire. Go ghost. Let it hurt and watch what gets born in the fire. Here's a secret. While you're grinding in silence, everyone else is comparing in public. They're stuck in the algorithm of self-doubt. They're addicted to being seen. They're spending more time on optics than on outcomes. But you're in the cave, bleeding, breaking, rebuilding. And in the cave, there's no competition, just echoes of your own breath, just a rhythm of discipline, just the weight of dreams you're finally strong enough to carry. You're not running behind, you're running alone. And that's why you're undeniable. Let them fight for followers. You're fighting for freedom. This is your off season, your training camp. You're Rocky in the cabin season. And no one respects what they don't see. They won't clap for what's invisible. They won't honor what's unfinished. That's okay, because when you step out of ghost mode, you won't need applause. You'll be prepared to be ignored. So let them sleep on you. Let them joke. Let them guess. You're studying while they scroll. You're rehearsing while they party. You're transforming while they stay the same. And one day, they'll all ask, "Where have you been?" And you'll say, "Building." Dreams are fragile in their early stages. They bruise easily. They can be broken by one careless comment, one sarcastic laugh, one eye roll from someone you thought believed in you. That's why you need distance. Not because you're weak, but because your dream is newborn. And newborns don't need crowds. They need protection. You're not cutting people off out of spite. You're cutting yourself free from opinions, from small talk, from the gravitational pull of mediocrity. The dream isn't loud right now. It whispers. It speaks in quiet conviction. And you've learned the difference between a cheer and a distraction. Let them talk. You're too busy listening to destiny. This isn't about proving anyone wrong. This isn't about flexing on the people who doubted you. This isn't about revenge. This is personal. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "I know you've been scared. I know you've been tired. But we are done living like this." It's about holding that inner child and saying, "You don't have to settle anymore." It's about burying the lazy version of you, the fearful one, the one who made themselves small just to survive. That version served its purpose. But now it's worth time. You versus you. And guess what? The real you is starting to win. When you finally step back into the world. When your name starts ringing again. When your face shows up in rooms they never expected you to enter. They'll ask, "What happened to you?" And you'll smile. Because they won't know the nights you didn't quit. The days you trained while your heart was breaking. The mornings you got up with no motivation, only mission. They won't know. about the solitude, the silence, the sacred suffering. And they don't need to, because you know, you earned this, and the best part, you did it alone.
People don't talk about this often, but it's the truth. Some doors only unlock when you knock alone. Not with a crowd, not with followers, not with people hyping you up, not alone. Because there are blessings that are too sacred for noise, too precise for distractions, too rare to be handed to someone who's still seeking external validation. So if it feels like you've been pushed into isolation, like life stripped people away, like you're being peeled from your old identity, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Not the door ahead is too heavy for the old version of you, the one that needed opinions, the one that was addicted to comfort. You're being stripped so you can slip through. And when that door opens, you'll be grateful you walked alone. You don't owe an apology for evolving. You don't owe closure to people who weren't invested in your becoming. You don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to justify your distance. You're not acting funny. You're acting focused. You're not ghosting people to hurt them. You're ghosting distractions to heal yourself, not to protect. Your time to build your mind, to chase the life you pretended you didn't want because you were afraid it was too big for you. Ghost mode isn't about hate, it's about honor. Honoring the fire in your gut, honoring the quiet voice that says, go harder. Honoring the dream that nobody clapped for but you still believed in anyway. What they don't show you in highlight reels is the vanishing, the part where the hero disappears, where no one sees them, where even their name fades from memory dock, but that's the setup. The cave always comes before the comeback. The silence always comes before the storm. The withdrawal always comes before the world ray meets you. You're not lost, you're loading. Not quitting, quietly crafting dot every time they forget you. You get sharper every time they underestimate you. You get faster every time they assume you're done. You're just one step closer to becoming undeniable. Disappear proudly, you're not dying. You're developing dot if they get offended when you go ghost. If they guilt trip you for chasing growth, if they only want you when you're available, but not when you're ascending, let them go, because the real ones, they'll respect the silence. They'll trust your distance. They'll cheer for your evolution, even if it means they see you less. You don't need anyone who only loves you when you're convenient. You need people who clap even when they're not in the front row. People who say, handle your business, I'll be here when you're ready. You're not heartless. You're hungry. And if they can't tell the difference, they were never meant to be part of your legacy. You wanted the dream? Cool dot now face. The grind that builds the bones of that dream, the early mornings, the late nights, the weekends you give up, the parties you miss, the loneliness that wraps around you like a cold wind in December. The grind strips away everything fake. It humbles you. It confronts you with your excuses. It asks, how bad do you really want it? Can you stay disciplined without motivation? Can you walk by faith, not followers? Ghost mode doesn't feel glorious, but it is. Because this is where legends are made, not on stages, in the shadows. Do you know what happens when you really go silent? You hear yourself again, not the voices of doubt, not the noise of society, not the opinions of people who have never built anything in their lives, not just you, your breath, your vision, your truth. And in that silence, something starts to grow mastery, confidence. Peace that doesn't depend on applause. The longer you stay in that sacred silence, the louder your work will speak later, because when the world finally hears from you, again, it won't be noise, it'll be truth, forged in fire. Let them call you weird now. Let them say you changed. Let them gossip because they only understand greatness in hindsight. They'll mock the quiet, but praise the result. They'll ignore the climb, but worship the view. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be legendary. And legends are rarely recognized in real time. So let them watch, let them wonder. And when it all comes together, they'll say, "Oh, now I get it." This is the hardest lesson Ghost Mode teaches. You won't finish the journey with everyone you started with. Not because you don't love them, but because not everyone can breathe at your altitude. Some people only support the old version of you, the one who stayed small, stayed available, stayed silent, but you're not that person anymore. And growth is not group therapy. Sometimes elevation means separation, and the higher you go, the more you'll realize you don't need more people. You need more discipline, more vision, more peace. You can love them, but still leave them behind. This isn't just about dreams. This is about your soul. You're at war with old addictions, old habits, generational patterns. Self-doubt that's been passed down like family heirlooms, a system that once you broke, distracted. And dependent. Going ghost isn't just practical. It's spiritual. You're reclaiming your mind. You're reprogramming your self-worth. You're rewiring your relationship with suffering. Every day you stay disciplined. You're breaking chains. Every time you say no to the old life, you're saying yes to legacy. This is not self-help. This is spiritual transformation in real time. One day you'll look in the mirror and realize you don't recognize yourself, not in a scary way, in a holy way, because you finally became the version of you that you used to fantasize about. Calm, confident. Focused. Unshakable. Powerful in silence. People will say, "You've changed." And you'll say, "I had to," not just for success, but for your sanity, for your peace, for your legacy. You didn't go ghost to disappear. You went ghost to reappear as someone they never saw coming, and that's exactly who you've become.
One of the hardest truths to swallow is this: you are too accessible, too easy to reach, too quick to respond, too available to people who wouldn't even clap for you if you won. You bent over backward for people who wouldn't lift a finger for you. You gave them front row seats to your energy, your ideas, your fire, and they did nothing but drain it. But when you go ghost, you learn. You learn that not everyone deserves access. You learn that boundaries are holy. You learn that your energy is sacred, and not everyone should be allowed to sit at the table of your time. Ghost Mode teaches you to guard your gates, because the version of you that's rising now needs more peace than permission, more silence than social, more power than pleasing. You don't owe the world your energy. You owe it to your purpose. Ghost Mode strips your ego. It snatches away the applause. It starves the part of you that was addicted to validation. And that's exactly why it works. Because you can't chase dreams and chase attention at the same time. You can't build a legacy and stay liked by everyone. The higher you climb, the more alone it becomes. Not because you're unloved, but because you're becoming too focused to be liked by the distracted. Your silence will offend them. Your discipline will intimidate them. Your detachment will confuse them. But you're not here for popularity. You're here for power. The kind that comes from consistency, conviction, and doing the unseen work when no one is watching. They might not love you now, but they will respect you later. Read that again. If you don't sacrifice for your dream, you become the sacrifice. You sacrifice your joy. You sacrifice your peace. You sacrifice your potential. You live in quiet resentment, wondering what could have been if you had just disappeared to build dot, but now you know. Now you see what's at stake. Now you feel it in your bones. This season of isolation isn't optional dot, it's life or death for your legacy. It's heaven or regret for your potential dot, so go ghost. Burn the bridge to your excuses. Starve the part of you that needs to be seen, and feed the one that's ready to be feared. You won't regret what you sacrificed. You'll only regret what you settled for. Ever feel like you're behind? Like everyone else is winning faster? Like the spotlight missed you? Like you're working your soul out in silence and no one notices? Pause. You're not behind. You're being hidden. You're in a greenhouse season dot where roots go deep, where growth is silent, where strength is built beneath the surface, so when the moment comes, you don't collapse under the weight of your calling. The longer the preparation, the stronger the launch. God is not punishing you. Life is not ignoring you. You're not late, you're being fortified dot, so when they finally see you, you'll be undeniable, unshakable, unstoppable. They'll show you the jets, the cars, the views from the top. But here's what they won't show you: the birthdays missed, the nights spent crying over setbacks, the doubt that creeps in when the silence gets too loud, the friends you outgrow, the inner wars you fight alone. Success is a beautiful thing, but the path to it, ugly, lonely, grueling, but necessary, because that lonely path carves your edge. It shapes your discipline. It teaches you to be relentless, even when you feel abandoned, so when you rise, you're not just successful, you're seasoned. They'll ask, where have you been? What are you even doing? Why so quiet? Smile. Let them wonder. Don't post everything. Don't explain. Don't defend the grind. Keep showing up when no one claps. Keep building when no one believes. Keep sharpening when no one notices. Because results never need captions. When it's ready, your work will speak for itself. Louder than gossip. Louder than doubt. Louder than anything you could have said. Let the silence be your strategy. Let success be your statement. This era is obsessed with visibility, but visibility without value is vanity. You don't need an audience right now. You need vision. You need grit. You need a routine that respects your goals more than your likes. Build the foundation in private. Craft the masterpiece with no one watching. Write the book no one asked for. Record the music no one hears yet. Design the business no one believes in. Because when you really chase vision, the audience follows later. Go ghost now, shine later. The more focused you get, the more boundaries you build. And some people, they'll hate you for it. They'll say, you've changed. You're cold now. You think you're better than us, to double quotes no. You just stopped bleeding for people who cut you. You stopped answering calls that drain your peace. You stopped prioritizing people who didn't pour into your purpose. Your boundaries are not arrogance. They are armor. They are the walls that protect the fire within you. And anyone who can't honor them was never meant to witness your glow. Up. Let them go. You've got things to build. Ghost mode isn't just for rest. It's for reconstruction. So when you return, you move different. You speak less and build more. You choose silence over validation. You value solitude over spotlight. You care less about approval and more about alignment. You don't just come back better. You come back braver, more focused, more calculated, more lethal in your purpose, because now you know what it takes, Dot, and you're not going back to smallness, not going back to noise, not going back to good enough. You went ghost for a reason. Dot, now show them why. Ever wonder why it hasn't happened yet? Why the dream hasn't come true? Why the door didn't open? Why the blessing still hasn't arrived? Here's the truth. The dream is real. The blessing is ready, but it's waiting on a version of you that's ready to carry it. Not the you that's inconsistent. Not the you that second guesses. Not the you that craves approval. The dream is waiting on the version of you who disappeared, sharpened, struggled, and came back with fire in your eyes and steel in your spine. So go ghost. Be selfish with your season. Honor your mission with obsession. Because the moment you become that person, the dream will run to meet you.